Anti-Afro Bengalis. This is a follow-up video regarding what happened to fast friends. When you look at the situation between Dumpsey D. Derell and King Kong Crud, also known as King Kong Crazy, KKC, they became fast friends, and then all of a sudden, he bails on Dumpsey. Dumpsey's going through this indictment and these federal charges. And I made another video about it. And then someone comes up and leaves me this message about Costa Rica. I have no idea if this is a joke, whether they're serious. I would have no way of knowing. But I'm coming on here to give my 25 cents because of the situation that has arisen is quite bizarre. And why am I even addressing this? Because I'm returning the favor. And when I mean favor, I'm being sarcastic. How KKC and Dumpsey D. Derell made a specific point to stick their nose in every single situation, every single interaction, every single friend, every single relationship. They had something to say about it. Every single situation where someone decided to build a bridge or mend a fence, they had something to say about it. They had something negative to say about it. They continued to tell lies. They became frustrated. They were losing their minds, literally, because people would not follow their orders and do what they wanted them to do. To me, Rev G, AFW, friends and supporters, just literally pulling out what little hair they have left or scraping at their scalps or whatever you want to say. They had something to say. So I have something to say. But we know how angry and frustrated these subjects get when they go on their tirades. They run their campaigns, their attack campaigns or slander campaigns or harassment campaigns or false allegation campaigns. You name it, they're running a campaign to try to target those who they feel are interacting with others and they don't like it. They want those to, I guess you want to say, isolate. If someone is that weak that they're going to listen to someone telling you to isolate somebody who you don't have any issues with, you never had issues with, they never did anything to you, come on, that's a weakness I don't even want to be associated with. We have seen those in the Umar Johnson sector who claim that they're independent, they're solo, they ride by themselves, are the most dependent subjects I have ever seen. They literally depend on the approval of these subjects to the point they will try to get you to answer questions to validate their assertions about what side they're on. Oh, can you tell them we ever spoke behind the scenes? Who the hell cares? Whose business is it? If I have a certain relationship with someone, it just comes natural. Nobody should have to force me or me forcing them to do anything or say anything or force onto a side. And this is what that Umar Johnson sector does. King Kong Crud / Crazy and Dumpsey D. Derell are two of the most prolific when it comes to the obsessions, the envious, the jealousy, the very bizarre form and degree of possessiveness and flying into rages upon seeing and hearing who you're interacting with or who the other person is interacting with. They fly into rages when they see that you're talking to someone that they don't want you talking to, or another person decides they want to build a bridge. Any and everything, all of the above, whoever is involved with interacting with us on any level, they're going to come in, they're going to make all kinds of comments about it, pass judgments, issue demands, again, like they have literal ownership of what moves we make here in these YouTube streets. The behavior is bizarre, it's outrageous. It's beyond any description of reality to be this extreme. Especially, you're going to hear in a second, King Kong Crazy make references to, I've never even spoken to you, Stargate. If you have never spoken to her, how the hell can you have this degree of intensity when it comes to registering objections that Stargate build a bridge with me and Rev G? People, it's so far beyond what's existing here in these YouTube streets. Check out this degree of intensity. Stay tuned and I will return.
This is our first conversation ever in life. Stargate.
And I've been on your channel. We've had a conversation.
Okay, so I will say I will reject that. I don't remember the conversation. I find it very strange that a woman that disrespected you to the utmost, you are now calling her Miss Svengali, while she still had the same footage dragging your ass on her channel. That's why I don't fuck with y'all, cause that's weird to me. If it's up there, it's up there.
Fuck with us. So you don't fuck with us, or you do? And I actually told Mrs. Bengali that like we can build a bridge right now and we can blow it up later. Maybe if you paid enough attention and you just focusing on things where you trying to make it seem like I'm acting stupid on these YouTube streets, maybe you would understand that I've been saying, listen, anybody that I had issues with, I don't mind teaming up with them to get at somebody who's a bigger problem to me. So don't ever come over here and question my moves over here when you actually, because you could have been fucking with anybody in the sector. You didn't have to fuck with me. And all that information about, I'm fucking with Mrs. Fingali. Well, you wasn't fucking with me before we built the bridge. But there was other people in the sector that didn't have a problem with you that you could have been building with over here. Because you thought you was better than me, right?
And that's fine. And that's fine too. You can feel that way.
All
and
right.
that is fine that you feel that way. But again, I feel like you are stupid for dealing with a woman and a man that is known for contacting people's jobs, careers, trying to fuck up their real life. And y'all want to know why I don't really fuck with y'all? Because y'all really don't want to keep this shit about YouTube like y'all trying to put out, man. A lot of y'all, just like Remix, he ain't trying to keep this shit on YouTube. He want to come down I-40 West and come and see me. And you got people like Anti-Afro Singali that will contact the job of people. She will contact the job of people. She will contact the job of people that support the content. Thank you.
So you did leave the sector.
Tell the people why it's okay that you gonna kiss the ass of a woman that is dragging you through the damn YouTube streets. You bow down to her, but you want to have smoke for all these other women. Man, you shut the hell up, man. Go rap a goddamn gift. Merry goddamn Christmas. The hell you talking about, man?
I said, so you gonna are you over here on a rescue mission for some thoughts? That's what you're doing, KKC? You on a rescue mission for some thoughts? That's what you're doing?
Man, I ain't no Captain Save a Hoe. It seems like you want to be saved. The fuck you mean? I ain't here trying to save no goddamn body. I know your ass bowed down to start. I know you bowed down to Svengali. I know you did that. I know you need Svengali. I know you do that. Mrs. Fingali, Mrs. Fingali, Mrs. Fingali, Mrs. Fingali, Mrs. Fingali, Mrs. Fingali, Mrs. Fingali.
I mean, the level of frustration and anger over people building a bridge, and he doesn't even have any relationship with Stargate. Why the hell do you care about Stargate and who she builds a bridge with? And of course, the recitation of past events can never include any even moderate degree of accuracy. To hear the story told, I was running around these YouTube streets chasing down Stargate and beating her with a club. They don't say that we were going back and forth, but they can't say that because that's going to dilute their whole position. The position's weak anyway. You can't force people, anyone who has any self-respect and decency for self, to do what you want them to do as a priority versus what they feel they want to do. Literally trying to treat Stargate like a child, and then the reactivity as an angry parent trying to chastise her for the decision she makes. It's not like a constructive conversation. It's browbeating. And it's the same thing he did with this propane Oak Lane situation, saying that we were trying to get a vibe with propane. A vibe with propane? Does that make any kind of sense? Well, I guess if I go over to someone's page, I should be cussing them out? Or should I treat the host with some decency and respect? which is what they don't seem to understand what that means. But when it comes to other people being courteous to host or respectful to host, it's you're trying to get some vibe. I think it's double hypocrisy because he is the one talking all kinds of shit about Propane Oak Lane. And I'm not even talking about the photos that he swore up and down that Propane Oak Lane put out to his enemy. He talked mad shit about Propane Oak Lane and just hated the fact that we were simply on the page. And this is, again, December 2022, before Propane Oak Lane caved and started attacking us unprovoked because he was feeling the pressure. Did you see me trying to fight for Propane Oak Lane? Was Rev G trying to fight for Propane Oak Lane? No, we just didn't appreciate the shit he was doing at the behest of those freaks because it was all unprovoked. King Kong Crazy was pissed because all of his plans that he set out failed. So in a desperation move, he goes over to Dumpsey Derell thinking that's going to do what? Didn't do a damn thing for me. I already have beaten Dumpsey Derell many times over. Rev G has already beaten Dumpsey Derell many times over. And yes, we're talking about offline. He expects us to stay online and simply be quiet about the threats of physical and sexual violence leveled towards us. The ones that he ran around to all these different pages laughing about, thumbing up, applauding, encouraging. Oh, he thought it was the funniest thing in the world, but you hear him crying about Remix. Him and Remix getting into it. And of course, he wants to try to blame us. Oh my God. So when I see this thing about God favored me and I'm a deacon now, it's just something I can't even get my head around. In particular, because he was bashing up on Rev G's calling, trashing Rev G's calling. And now we're supposed to have reverence for your calling as if it's authentic. And if you're supposed to be such a man of God, why did you abandon Dumpsey Derell? He got indicted. Everything they try to get us with, it blows up right in their face. Like I've stated many times before, the vast majority of things I let slide. I was not going to let slide. King Kong Crackhead using me as a scapegoat because he was too chicken shit to face up to Propane Oak Lane because he knew he was talking shit about him. Far beyond the situation with the picture. I was not going to be a scapegoat, so I opened my mouth and I spoke on it, and I will continue to speak on it. I'm not going to be restrained because the situation makes whoever uncomfortable or they don't like it. Am I forcing them to talk about Dumpsey Derell's federal indictment? No, I don't give a shit if they talk about it or not. I'm going to talk about it. I will talk about it. The U.S. attorney is going to talk about it. The judge is going to talk about it. Dumpsey Derell's defense attorney is going to talk about it. And anyone else in these YouTube streets who wants to talk about it. Who doesn't talk about it? It makes no difference to me. This KK crud up and disappeared for 2-3 months. Wasn't posting on the community wall. Lost monetization. Took down a bunch of videos. And then comes back and says God favored him. And now he's in some, I don't know what you call it. He says deacon. I mean, I've never heard of a barely 40-year-old deacon. I've never heard of that before. But then again, people have a right to pick whatever spiritual or religious practices they want to indulge in. Then I noticed something else kind of odd. When do males wear headgear in church? This is why it gets kind of like heebie-jeebie-ish. God favored me? Favored? How would God favor such a situation? Question the characterization. And then, what happened to the weed? What happened to the liquor? He's just going to give it up. What happened to the bitches in the house? You hoe, you bitch, you this. What happened to that? He's really giving that up? I don't believe it. I think it's a setup. I think it really smells like I smell a rat. Let me just put it straight. This really does appear to be something in the vicinity of potentially cultish. When you're talking about God favored me, you have that. Then eventually you'll be told that whoever you're with, that they're God. You'll be told that God is speaking to them. God told me that you're favored. God told me that you need to give me $100. It just seems like a setup. Some Nature Boy situation 2.0, and I would not even consider King Kong Crud in a leadership role. He would be one of the flunkies. Like Nature Boy had a bunch of flunky males. He would be in that role. It just seems really strange, and just so many things that this fool did would run around to any and every space, and people would send us the clips and the screenshots. The first one to second, third, fourth, and fifth, whatever threats were leveled against us, may it be physical, may it be sexual, any type of targeting, he was on board. This is, of course, after he swore up and down that he's not dealing with us anymore after we left his page. But then we get sneak panels with him going off the rails, essentially ready to have a stroke over our moves in these YouTube streets. Someone he claimed he left behind. And they always say that they left us behind after we leave their channel. Oh, we blocked them. Oh, we took a range away. Oh, this is this. I was not going to pass this up. Always expecting me to feel a certain way that isn't even consistent with who I am. I am not the one that chases after subjects who act the fool. If they act the fool, they're rude, they're disrespectful, I don't go chasing them down, begging them to be nice to me. I get the hell away from them. That's what I do. I don't keep running back. Oh, punish me some more. And why'd you do that to me? Oh my God, how can you do that? This is what they're thinking for themselves. This is how they act. Once I leave, I leave. There's only been a few exceptions where I have returned because the conditions were addressed. But I don't go chasing after subjects I don't have any dealings with. They are the ones that want so badly to be seen and heard. They think that I feel the same way they do. If a content creator or a host wants to ask me questions, I answer the questions, and it has to be such a big deal. It's a big deal for them, but they want it to be a big deal for me. I'm just simply answering the questions. It has to be this big, grand production because this is how stalkers think. Once you're no longer in their space, they become extremely angry and resentful when it comes to those you are interacting with and continue to mention it at every beck and turn. Why the hell am I caring who's hanging out on whose page? It has nothing to do with me because I'm not over there. I'm not participating. But no, they have to make us the subject of their live streams, although we're not even addressing anything about the subjects unless they cross those particular lines, and we will address it. But to have so much judgment, so many lies told, so much harassment, applauding of murder and rape and other violent crimes. I mean, there are subjects that I would never even consider building a bridge with because of the level of their abuse, inherently abusive, and I just don't buy this conversion. I don't buy it one bit. This dude was extremely evil, abusive, vindictive, harassing, even invoked Rev G's child, played her voice on his channel, called us all kinds of bitches and hoes and all these disgusting things. And he thinks because he says God favored him, it's all good. No, it's not all good. I don't buy it. It just seems to me that he's involved with some sort of cult. And if he wants to be involved with a cult, be involved with a cult. But it's insulting that he ever thought for 5 seconds that he can question Rev G's calling, but somehow his is what? Higher and above because God favored him. That term doesn't even make any sense. How would God favor this subject over anyone else? But where is the support for Dumpsey D. Derell They were fast friends. They were forever friends. Where is all the support? It was phony. For some odd reason, this dude, King Kong Crud, thought we were going to give a shit. Why the hell do we care if he links up with Dumpsey D. Derell? They're just like each other. They lie. They target people for harassment for no reason. And then they turn around and swear up and down that they've been victimized. Where's our sneak panel when we're up here trashing King Kong Crud after we said, we're not going to talk about him no more? It just strikes so evidently of wanting us to be punished. Punished for what? Look who's getting the punishment. The fact that Dumpsey D. Derell is indicted is their punishment. They feel wounded. They feel defeated because they know it's yet another feather in our cap. It's another victory for us. Who got indicted? Dumpsey D. Derell. Who needed to be indicted? Dumpsey D. Derell. And there's some others out there who are not out of the woods. Look how long it took to get Dumpsey D. Derell. See, these subjects are very clueless. They really believe if something happens in these YouTube streets, immediately there's a battering ram coming through your door. That's not the way it works. And if the battering ram doesn't come to their door within a week or two, they think they're out of the woods. And they're not out of the woods. If you engaged in illegal behavior here in these YouTube streets, you're not out of the woods. He was the one begging for young Pharaoh's medical records and offered money for it. It's phony. I smell a rat. I don't buy it. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to believe it. It's a bunch of phony bullshit, especially when he spent all that time tacking Rev G for his calling, but he wants the world to believe that he was favored, whatever. But as you see, he's not helping out Dumpsey. And look what's happening with Dumpsey. I think they're embarrassed. King Kong Crud is embarrassed. They're all embarrassed because they can't tolerate the fact that we won yet again. The victories are going to continue. The victories will continue because this is the way things are supposed to work out. The aggressors are the ones who have it coming to them. You have it coming to you because you're the one who perpetrated the atrocities. This is not about being perfect, but they want it so bad to be that we attack them, and that is a damn lie. These aggressors came after us because we wouldn't obey them like slaves on a plantation. So they can make up whatever story they want. Look what happened to Dumpsey D. Derell. He made up all those stories about us, and look where he is now, facing a 9-count indictment. He deserves a prison sentence for all that he has done, the crimes he continuously perpetrated. And here you have King Kong Crud not even going to his rescue, not even helping him out. I thought he was supposed to be a man that was favored by God, and he just abandoned him. Just goes to show, Dumpsey D. Derell only came up in these YouTube streets with stolen money, trying to co-opt who he thought were weaker, those he perceived to be weaker than him. Well, basically, they're equally weak. They're equally needy. They're equally clueless. The level of intensity with this possessiveness is so extreme that I refuse to believe it's actually directed towards us. I believe it's a reflection of what has happened or what is happening in their real life. And if you think about Dumpsey D. Derell, that is spot on the match. They just transpose what's happening in their life off YouTube onto people here in these YouTube streets. And the element of possessiveness is extreme and it's pathological. The level of anger that is generated from feeling you have the right to dictate to others who they should be talking to. I'm not talking about saying a fleeting comment, oh, ignore that fool. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these subjects are serious. Serious as heart attacks. King Kong Crud, Dumpsey D. Derell, the anger, the outrage, it cannot be actually directed towards us. In reality, it has to be a reflection. We are simply substitutes. Nonetheless, the behavior is bizarre. It's outrageous. It's beyond any description of reality. If you really put yourself in a situation and decide to sit and think about it, it could blow your mind. But you got to put it into perspective. There is no way I would ever even consider shouldering or bearing the burdens of the outcome of pathologies that belong to others. But let me tell you, there are those out there who are on the hunt to try to make you shoulder burdens and responsibilities that belong to them, their pathologies, their disorders, their suffering, their circumstances. They're even more determined to force you to shoulder these burdens when they are the aggressors. They want you to actually believe you're responsible for the total misery in their life after they harassed you, after they started attacking you, after they targeted you and it failed, but you're responsible. The target's responsible for the suffering of the aggressor. Good luck with that. There's no way in hell I'd ever consider doing anything like that. It doesn't matter how many characterizations these subjects come up about me. You're still never going to get me to accept guilt, burdens, and responsibilities of your own pathologies. And when I say when I say you, that is whoever it applies to. They know who they are. The ones that started these attacks, who started with these threats of violence, physical and sexual. And yes, Dumpsey D. Derell led the charge. And now you had King Kong Crazy aligning with him. And he ended up bailing on Dumpsey. What does that tell you? You got any questions or doubt what I say? Go back to that clip when you heard King Kong Crud Crazy going at Stargate and saying that me and Rev G are trying to F up people's real lives. Okay. Good luck with that. It won't be with me. It won't be with Rev G. We don't feel guilty. We don't feel responsible because we're not responsible. We have a right to defend ourselves. And we're not looking for justice in these YouTube streets. Justice is not going to be found here. Justice is going to be found with those who have the authority to implement the appropriate remedy. And again, that's nobody in these YouTube streets. I will defend myself in any and all areas that I feel are relevant. So you hear the anger, the rage being directed towards Stargate. It's out of proportion. Just as the anger and the rage towards me and Rev G for defending ourselves is out of proportion. They really expect us to sit here in these YouTube streets and be accused of literal crimes, to be slandered and harassed and targeted and threatened with all types of physical and sexual violence, and to keep it on YouTube. But when someone else decides they want to threaten them, they want to blame us because we're on their page. See, I don't fall for any of this. That's why it's never worked. This makes it all the more bizarre that King Kong Crazy has not linked up with Dumpsey D. Derell and addressed his issues because they were fast friends, and we just have a disappearance, quite possibly into the cult atmosphere. Who really knows, folks? But you can be sure of one thing. I will continue to speak on any and everything I so choose without hesitation. You know I got more coming your way. In the meantime, buyer beware.